Hi guys, welcome to Prince Drive Garage. So far so good with the DPF delete on this Toyota Hiace van, and this is what we have managed to do so far. Here is the DPF, and you might ask why we are doing the DPF delete. Let me explain to you. As you can see, this one, that is how it looks like, and it was starting to deteriorate, and now is block. So what happens, when the turbo is pulling, basically it has to provide the boost, of course, to move the vehicle, and also it has to provide more power to force the exhaust gas through the DPF. So normally when we do the DPF delete, because now it won't really help us much here because of the quality of fuel and the oil as well. So eventually it is still going to die eventually and block and not be of any use to us. So I have decided to just remove it. For Toyota, this is the inlet side. So you see, even from the factory setup, it is still 50% blocked. So the turbo has to spin like twice. First, to provide boost to move the vehicle. Number two, to force the exhaust gas through this DPF. So that is why we have deleted the DPF, so as to relieve the much needed power, and also the fuel. We gain fuel economy by, you see, to burn the suit using this DPF, you have to put diesel. We have another injector that is put on the exhaust system that injects a bit of diesel plus heat, so as to burn off the soot using the DPF the DPF system. So now that this is removed, that fuel will be saved. So now something interesting, as you can see, the catalytic converter is still intact. There it is. The converter is still intact. We did not remove it because it looks okay and it hardly blocks. So there is really no need for us to remove it. And again, I want to retain my temperature sensors, this one and that one. So I still want to measure my exhaust temperature accurately. Yes, so that is why I still want to retain my catalytic converter, and then just remain with the DPF, get rid of the DPF. So stay tuned as we assemble this thing back and do a test run to see if we are good. Thank you. Welcome back to this DPF delete project. We are finally done with the DPF delete, and now here is how our canister looks like. As you can see, the catalytic converter is still intact, but as you can see here, we have a flap. So the primary purpose of this flap is because of this pressure sensor that goes like this. So the way the DPF system works is such that the ECU is able to measure the pressure difference between this, that is before the DPF, and after the DPF, using this pressure sensor. So this goes into the same pressure sensor with this one, and the ECU is able to correlate the difference between this and this. Because of this flap, where is it? Because of this flap, we are able to trap some bit of air that will go to this pressure sensor. So that small back pressure is going to trick the ECU into thinking that we still have some bit of DPF. So it won't draw any code. So we won't have the check engine light, and we have already done our DPF delete. And again, this will save us the cost of installing emulators and such. Then on top of that, so this one we will vent it into the air. So we will block this part, but the side that comes from the sensor itself, we will leave it open so that it correlates the exhaust, the atmospheric pressure versus the small turbulent pressure that comes from this part this way all the way here. So stay tuned, we will update you on how it goes. So we are already now ready to get the whole system back into the vehicle. We have done the sealing and this is how it looks like. We just need to now put it back into the vehicle and see how everything goes. Hi guys, we are finally done with the DPF delete project on this van and we are very much happy with the progress. If you come with me, I want to show you something here on the dash. So this is how our dash looks like. As you can see, everything is very much okay. The DPF system, there it is. We don't have any problem with it. It's pretty much clean. So you remember that we did a flap on the DPF canister so as to direct some bit of turbulence onto the pressure sensor. So that helped in tricking into the ECU into thinking that we still have some bit of DPF on the system, but so far so good. And again, we still have our catalytic converter intact for the simple reason of we still wanted to retain our exhaust gas temperature sensors, so they're still intact and they are still measuring the correct values. It is very important because number one, if you want to tune the vehicle, maybe you have a tuner, they would need the EGTs to understand how they are tuning and how much to safely tune the vehicle. Number two, the EGTs help the vehicle to the ECU to enter into limp mode or safe mode in case there is something seriously wrong with the engine. For example, if your EGTs goes beyond 800 for some time and the engine temps goes above 120, definitely the ECU will put the engine onto safe mode to try to save the engine from overheating. So it is always good to retain them. So that is why personally I prefer to retain the catalytic converter and the temperature sensors intact. So far so good. So if you come with me, I want to show you okay, first things first, everything is running fine. Here it is, and we have not noticed any increased noise from the exhaust system. Still very much silent, and this is how it is running. There is no any notable exhaust because the engine is still healthy, so it is not smoking. The particulates, you can't really see them, and we are running fine. I am happy. Personally, I'm happy. So with this, we expect to run more power, more torque, and of course our turbo is happier and we are also happy too. So we want to run this vehicle and collect a few more data for some time and see if like we had thought about it and implemented, everything is going to run as we had planned. So stay tuned and thank you very much for staying locked at Prince Drive Garage. Thank you.